welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Last Day of H.P. Lovecraft, Issue 2 by Boom Studios. Now, there is a lot of weird shit in this one, so if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the team. So, it's been a bit since I read issue 1, mainly because it took a while for me to get issue 2. But when we last left off, old H.P. Lovecraft was, I think, starting to write in the little book left to him by that man that arrived. Which, again, this whole might be a hallucination of H.P. Lovecraft in his final day. As the title says, the last day of H.P. Lovecraft. Though it's very possible that that man was real, just not human. Who knows? Anyway, yeah, I think that's what happened last time. We left him off there, and then there was that letter between him and Robert E. Howard. Alright, so we start this one again by more narration, and all sorts of almost like this tentacle that keeps expanding that's made out of eyes. At least that's what it looked like to me. I really love the art style here, I think I said in the first issue. It keeps expanding and someone's talking to H.P. Lovecraft saying, oh, you know, you've always been more than human, but also, you know, less than an average man. And it turns out that the one giving this narration is H.P. Lovecraft's wife, Sonia. He was married, in fact. I don't think for long, but I know he had a wife. I didn't even know her name. I mean, I assume the details of his life here are accurate. At least, you know, from what is known, I think. Anyway, Sonia is making him a cup of tea. There's rats around her. And basically most of this issue consists of her talking to him, about their relationship, and, you know, what if things were different, how they went to what was that place called? I went to that this one place for their honeymoon, and how they spent that honeymoon rewriting a story that he wrote together. Sorry, not rewriting, but writing a story that she helped him with. Come on, what was the place called? There we go. Magnolia. There we go. I think it's this little city. On the wall of his hospital room, there's a picture of lighthouse. You can see as it changes as she continues talking. So yeah, they went to that place and how briefly they were happy there. And then she tells him, come with me, Howard. And he's like, I can, but she says, yeah, you can. You know, you're already dying. She also talks about how bad his diet was. I wonder if that's really what could have led to his cancer. I need to read up, but I think that's accurate. That's what he died from. But anyway, they go into, basically in this case, into the painting. And they walk around Magnolia, and there's no one there. And they walk around the shops, and as they pass by a shop, she tells Howard, you know, you would have looked ravishing in this suit. And Howard comments on how, you know, I look like a cretin and a monster. And she tells him, well, yeah, you know, maybe your features are too sharp, but in the end, you're just a man. And Then they walk to the sea, and on the shore you see Sonya's tombstone. But she outlived him by a lot. She died in the 70s, actually, 1970s. So this time she's not dead, but again, either this is happening or these are all hallucinations he's having after that man arrived before his death. Or, while he's actively dying. And so she tells him, Howard, again, what if we, spend that honeymoon actually doing what supposes do? What if you didn't listen to your aunts that didn't like me? Because she was a Jewish woman. And instead we would have been happy and we would have had children and all of that. Why don't you write it? Why don't you write us such a reality where we're happy together and we can escape death and be immortal? But then he tells her that it's all meaningless. She asks him, won't you kiss me one last time? And he says, no, I think it's best I don't. And then she starts to basically go into the sea, and then she kind of floats away. And Howard's like, why did you come here? And she tells him that, no matter what, Howard, I know that you didn't do it. You never signed the divorce papers. So I'm still your wife and I always will be. And then he, by the looks of it, wakes up. And you see him take the book called Life and Death that the man left him. Or I think it's a notebook, not a book. He tears out the page, and then he reaches for the suitcase that's under his bed, where the man left a different suitcase full of books from the future about H.P. Lovecraft. And he pulls out a book, which I don't know if it's real, but it's from... His wife wrote, Sonia, The Private Life of H.P. Lovecraft, and he reads little bits of it about himself. And then there's a letter that he writes to Robert E. Howard. I struggle with cursive, so I just can't read it. It's so hard for me, so I'm not sure what the letters are. But after that, he seems to maybe wake up again. And then there's noise from a suitcase not far from his bed, or a box. And suddenly it bursts, and Harry Houdini comes out of it. Apparently, H.P. Lovecraft promised to write a story for Houdini or something like that. And they corresponded at the very least. And he tells him, come on, Howard, and the old Lovecraft's like, but Harry, you're dead for 2 years, yeah, and you're dying right now, so come with me. And he shackles Howard's wrists together and opens the door, telling him, come on, there's not long left. And through it, they go to New York. They're on some bridge there, looking at the whole city, and Harry's like, the city of Babylon. I think he probably meant New York and how H.P. Lovecraft lived there for a short time, and said, if I would have imagined hell, this is what it would be. But then he just continue, and come on, then Houdini pulls out a rope from his coat, and doesn't tie it to anything, just leaves it in the air and slides down. And he also reads him a few things from a book about him, a book containing Lovecraft's letters to people. And then Houdini's like, come on, Howard, and, well, what can he do? He grabs onto the rope and somehow, not very gracefully, slides down. And Harry's, and they're both now in an alleyway full of workers. And, they're there, and then Houdini said, well, Howard, you were never You were never a man of the people, were you? And, wait, what else did he tell him? 1 second. Let's see, yeah, you were never the man of the people. And then he tells him, when you arrived, you were just a virgin, an armchair political analysis, just another prejudiced schmuck living in total ignorance of the real world. And old Howard's like, why the vulgarity, Harry? Why don't you make some actual arguments? And Harry's like, I can do better than that. And he tells him, follow me. As all the workers that are in the alley gather around them. And that is it. That is the end of the issue. Okay, so first cover. This one a little less maybe eye-catching than the first one. And mind you, these are cover A's by the artist Jacoba. I'm not going to even try to pronounce his surname, so don't ask me. But still, it's got this sort of portrait of Lovecraft. Can't see his eyes. It's all very creepy. But I love it. Still, for the art. Now, I've seen on my comic shop some of the variants, and I must say they look very cool. So really cool covers there. You see there's this kind of tentacle forming out of eyeballs. You see, creating this, almost like a swirling tunnel. And whatever this is, later, like, you see morphs into his wife. You see, it's kind of like a big jellyfish. And there we go, that's his wife, Sonia. And I'll show you a bit of this one, fuck it. You see, there she is. Making him a cup of tea. Look at them rats. And I said before, I really love this art style. So this kind of style's my thing. I think it looks fucking cool. Just a moment. Yeah, it looks fucking cool. Okay. So now for the story. So, yeah, I think this is just gonna be, like this weird tale of just what might have gone through the head of H.P. Lovecraft in his last day. His literal last hours. I don't think, I think if you're looking for maybe sort of a plot, maybe it's not here. I must say, I'm really enjoying the adventure. And normally, I'm not really that interested in the author himself or herself. I'm usually, I just care about the story. Since I was a kid, I mainly have a separation between art and artist. So, in this case, writer and the story. So, usually I'm not curious, but just for some reason when I saw this series, I was like, ooh, I want to read that. And I must say I'm not disappointed. I do like this kind of weird shit. It's my thing. Not a lot of action, but what do you expect a story called The Last Day of H.P. Lovecraft? It's more of just, but still, I just love this sort of stuff. Kind of like an adventure of Alice in Wonderland, only a lot more grim. And, quite deadly. Sorry, that was my grandma. And, well, that's it. Not much else to say, really. I think this would be more for you, if you're a huge fan of, not even huge, but a fan of H.P. Lovecraft, or you like this sort of weird style. Because, again, if you're looking for a story with a concrete plot and it's going somewhere, I don't think this is it. But I'm going to continue reading this one as the issues come out and finally arrive to Israel. This is definitely something nice and weird to read. And that's it, really. We'll see what issue 3 brings. Where did old Mr. Houdini, where is he taken Howard? What does he want to show him? And where will this go? That's I'm very curious about that. As I love the use of reds here and brown. Alright, folks, so that is it. Let me know what you thought of The Last Day of H.P. Lovecraft issue 2. And remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!